Hey folks, Radioshack is going out of business again. So I decided to go there and grab as much stuff as I could, since the store near me is closing and most of the stuff there had been gone or had been gone through already. A lot of the shelving was in the process of being taken down. It's a sad sight, man. There used to be like cell phones and stuff everywhere, and shelving full of stuff, but they're liquidating like crazy right now, and it's just really sad to see it go. For those of you in the area, it's the one that's across from the giant shopping center, the one where Superfresh used to be. So it's sad. We've seen Superfresh go from that shopping center. Now we're seeing Radioshack go from that shopping center. And that Radioshack has been very important to me through my childhood. I went there a lot over the years. You guys have seen the videos of the stuff that I've got from there in the past. And this is probably the final time I'll ever be at a Radioshack, which is very sad. You know, I really like Radioshack, at least for what it is. So I figured I'd show you the stuff I hauled off from Radioshack. Of course, anybody who's been to Radioshack in the last, like, 15 years knows that they love their batteries. So I walked away with 36 AA batteries and 16 AAA batteries. So I have enough batteries to last me a while. I walked away with a 58-piece precision screwdriver set, which is pretty cool. This has some stuff in it that'll allow me to better make videos on fixing things, actually, because it has quite a few different bits in there. Phillips bits, slotted bits, hex, safety hex, torques, safety torques, tri-wing, TS, TP3, star, game bits, nut bits. It has a lot of stuff, and it's a smaller screwdriver, so this will be great for working on computers and video game consoles and things like that. I got myself a new multimeter since my old multimeter kind of kicked the bucket in the process of moving. I mean, you can kind of see I'm in a new place now. So a lot of stuff I know when I cleaned out my workshop I noticed was not good. My multimeter got corroded by an old battery, so I got a digital one here that's in true RMS. And I also got a new analog one. I had an analog one before, but that one went bad. That's the one that had the battery in it, so I got the bigger brother of it, actually, the big one. So, and it can measure quite a lot, so it's nice to have an analog multimeter just to see the behavior. Basically, you can see your reading without delay, unlike digital where you have to wait a few seconds. I walked away with some of these metal knobs, which are great for replacements on old receivers and old equipment. They look great. They look the part, especially on anything 70s with that brushed aluminum look. These things look great. Silver tone knurled knob. These are from 2016, so they were made last year, fairly new. This Create It thing that Radioshack had going on for a little while under the new management was pretty cool there. This is something you'll never be able to buy again, at least new anyway. It's a cord untangler for a phone, which is perfect for this phone here on my desk, which, as you can see, is a tangled mess. So that's pretty cool. That'd be nice to have. I thought I'd just, why not? That's one of those hell, why not purchases. Okay, I got one of these. It is a USB 3 to SATA adapter, which is kind of nice. Hooks right up to a notebook drive, like that. And you can just transfer data, which is much nicer than using an enclosure, especially if I'm just cloning a disk or something. Like, for example, I have this laptop here. Let's say I'm cloning a disk. I could just set the adapter right next to it, and instead of having to put it in an enclosure like this, I can just stick it on the cable, which is much nicer, I think, for doing disk clones and things like that, which I do every now and then, so it's nice to have things that way. Here's an interesting thing. They had stuff that was 80% off in the parts bins, or the parts drawers, so I got a butt ton of spade connectors. These come in handy for things like, let's say you're rewiring a turntable. They make really good grounding wire connectors for that, so you don't have to use bare wire. managed to get a Linksys wireless N300 network adapter, which will come in handy, I'm sure. $15, so pretty good for the money, I would say. Now, as a general rule, I think USB networking is absolute trash, but there are moments where sometimes you need it. So it's nothing I would use on a day-to-day basis, but if you just need it real quick to get something done, it's actually really useful for that. So it's good to have that. The one I had before is an N150, so this is an upgrade. I grabbed some 18-gauge speaker wire, which ends in an RCA plug, which is good for some of the realistic receivers that I have. I probably should have grabbed a second one of these, but I forgot, so maybe I'll go back and get another one. I'll probably do that tomorrow. I'll get a second one of these. Something that I haven't owned in many years, an anti-static wrist strap. It was there, I saw it, why not? Alright. A right angle SATA adapter. That's pretty nice. Not sure what I'm going to use it for, but it's handy to have that around. A 50-foot Cat6 Ethernet cable, which I'll definitely use. I'm going to use that to run a cable from my switch down here over to the transfer PC over there by the door. So that will be very useful. Plus, my old 50-foot cable went bad, so it's good to have another one. Radioshack RF modulator. Yes, I have an RF modulator now, which is useful for old TVs that only have a coax input. And this could convert S-video as well, which is kind of nice. Not really sure if you really need that, but hey, it's there if it's the only option. So this will be useful for old TVs and things like that. Grateful 42 has an old TV where I needed this specific device so that we could play video games on it. So now we can play video games on his TV and I can just bring this with me whenever we do. A shortwave FM AM radio. This is a cute little radio. Takes, I think, AAA batteries, and it has AM, FM, and shortwave. Maybe this thing will get its own video at some point, but I just thought it was a cute little radio to have. I had a shortwave radio at one point, but it was kind of junky and didn't have headphone output or anything like that. This does, so I could plug it into something like my stereo over there and listen to shortwave radio through my stereo, and I could always get a 6-volt adapter as well, so that works out for me. I also got one of these. I made a video about one of these in the past, I think. It's a Radioshack, just AM, FM weather radio. These things make pretty good like kitchen radios and work radios and things like that. It's not very good. I've made a video on this before. I might make another one in better quality at some point. I'll have to go back and watch the old one and see if it sucks. So, one of these, which does sound pretty good actually. It does pull in the weather band stations. It pulls in AM pretty okay from where I live, so that's nice. And, of course, the one with the most nostalgia attached to it, a Tandy keyboard. Yes, Tandy. They brought back Tandy last year to some of their branding. I think it was only on their keyboards, maybe on some other stuff too. But this is a wireless keyboard and mouse combo. I didn't have a wireless keyboard or a mouse anywhere in my collection of keyboards, so I decided, hey, this is actually useful. Not as a keyboard that's any good to type on, but as a utilitarian thing. If you need a keyboard to be wireless, this is what I'm going to use. The mouse is also wireless, and they use one receiver together, so that's pretty nice. And yeah, that's my haul from Radioshack. The sales were pretty incredible, so I grabbed all I could. Some of the stuff was just beyond cheap, so yeah, that's it. That's all the stuff. It's sad to see Radioshack go. This will be a memorable haul, a memorable trip. I'll see things that I bought from this trip and remember, oh, Radioshack. Especially that Tandy keyboard, man. As junky as a keyboard as that is, having the Tandy name on it still brings back some memories. Plus, I have some realistic and Optimus stuff from the 80s and 90s that help fondly remember Radioshack by, so there's always that as well. But, yeah, there you go. That's Radioshack for you. It's a shame to see them go, but unfortunately, it looks like just they just couldn't keep it together. And I even noticed that while I was at the store today. They aren't even communicating with their stores properly. They can't even manage a get it going out of business sale. Like, they didn't communicate to all their stores that they changed the sales for the components inside the component drawers. They were 80% off, but not all of the items were supposed to be, and they didn't communicate that to the stores. So the cashier actually rung somebody up, and they noticed on the receipt after they paid for it that it wasn't exactly 80% off for everything they paid for. And it was an all sales or final deal because it was a going out of business sale. So he made us think about it. They called the district manager. He threatened the district manager. It was a sight to behold. It was interesting. But that just says to me, yeah, this is probably why they're folding. It's a shame. Radio Shack's heyday, I think, was probably the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Around 2001 is when they started going downhill towards what I like to call cell phone peddling. So it's really a shame to see them go, but they're going for a reason. You know, not everybody can keep a business together. It's a shame, but this is what happens sometimes. But hey, there you go. My Radio Shack haul and my first video at my new place. So hey, 2 things to remember this video by. So, not much to show here. This is a bit like a thrift store scores video, I guess, except it's not really thrifting. It's just like buying stuff on sale. But it's Radio Shack. That's why I made a video about it. It's important. And I think it's notable that Radio Shack is going out of business. My childhood one. It's a shame, but these things happen, man. Especially in the age we live today. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good one, everybody. Ciao.